Ladies and gentlemen, the first sneak peek for the upcoming March update has landed. A new threat looms near. Will you be prepared when the moment arrives? Prepare to fight against the next legendary world boss. All right, now let's take a closer look at what this actually means for the game. So over on the forums, we have the following. A new threat looms near. Will you be prepared when the moment arrives? A looming threat. And we're not talking about the loom from Loki Season 2. We're talking about something else. Prepare to fight against the new world boss. The wording is actually almost identical to what's in on Twitter. And then the sneak peek itself is interesting. It's an arena that gets sort of shown at different angles and different perspectives, from above, down low, from the side, the whoopsie-doo. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole sneak peek. There's no... You don't see who is in the arena. You don't get anything of that. You just see the arena multiple times. Now, eagle-eyed comic viewers have already hit me up to let me know where this arena is from, because I personally had no idea. I was like, okay, I see Earth, so it's not on Earth, but that doesn't really help me. It's in space, and it looks cool. It's got like Arabic themes, you know. It looks nice, right? It's got like, you know, it gives me a bit of a Roman vibe with all of the no, they're not called parapets. I don't know what they're called, but you know, the thingamajiggies. Anywho, but I had no idea, right? I had no idea where this is from. It looks cool, right? It looks nice. It kind of, you know what? It reminded me of Otherworld Battle. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me a lot of Otherworld Battle, but I know it's not exactly the same as the arena, the Heavenly Arena or whatever from Otherworld Battle. But people hit me up on Discord and let me know that this was the Library of Worlds. And you can see here from the comics that this is exactly what this is. This is exactly the same. It's the Library of Worlds. And the Library of Worlds is, and you can see another example there, but yeah, the Library of Worlds is created by the Beyonders. So I did a bit of digging. This is over on the Marvel fandom, and the Library of Worlds was built by the Beyonders, and the Beyonders initially wanted to do this experiment about like life in the universe, and then they decided, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to just destroy all life in the universe. So that's when the Beyonders ditched the Library of Worlds and started collecting Molecule Men, because they were going to use the Molecule Men from, like, so there's Molecule Man. We know Molecule Man. They were going to use every Molecule Man from every version of Earth, from all of the multiverses, and then just, boom, destroy everything. Anywho, it's a sort of long, kind of convoluted story, but Doctor Doom, who at the time is going by the alias Rabum Alal, he goes to the Library of Worlds, and he disguises himself as this Rabum Alal guy, and he enlists the help of the Black Swans, who are from different species. But anyways, they basically worship Doctor Doom, but they don't know he's Doctor Doom. They think he's Rabum Alal. And these Black Swans have these powers. They can spot incursions, whatever, and he uses them to capture and destroy the Molecule Mans before the Beyonder can capture and destroy the Molecule Mans to destroy the multiverse. But then Doctor Doom later realizes that plan isn't going to work, so he starts collecting the Molecule Mans to help him. It's a very convoluted story. And then Doctor Strange appears because, yeah, he's part of the Black Priests. There's the Black Swans and the Black Priests. And then, yeah, all the Black Priests die except Doctor Strange. And then they recruit Doctor Strange to their side, and they help save the world. And this is how they create Battle World. They basically use the Molecule Man bomb, which is just a bomb made up of lots of Molecule Men. It makes no sense. And they use it to blow up the Beyonders, nuke their asses, Oppenheimer style, and take their power, and then create Battle World. So that leaves us with a lot of questions and not a lot of answers, right? Everything I've just explained, which you may or may not have asked for, leads me to believe that the World Boss Legend is possibly Beyonder. We could be fighting the Beyonder. We could be in this arena. We could be fighting Doctor Doom. We could be fighting a version of Doctor Doom. We could be fighting a version of like one of the Black Swans, and there's one Black Swan in particular that's very notable. It's the one that ends up going and joining the Cabal, which is where people know her from. This Black Swan, which apparently her name is Yabat Amon Turu. Sure, I don't know. But yeah, she basically has like this interesting life where she goes to the Illuminati, and then Namor frees her from the Illuminati, and then she joins the Cabal, and that's where we know her from. We know her from her time in the Cabal with Thanos and the Black Order. That's where people recognize this Black Swan from. So originally, when I thought Black Swan, I thought it was just one character, but apparently there was like a whole crew of Black Swans that existed in the multiverse. But who knows? Yeah, whatever. She's the last one. I don't know. And then I guess it could be Doctor Strange, and it also could be Molecule Man. Again, it's probably not Doctor Strange, so I sort of don't want to mention him, but I think the Beyonder, Doctor Doom, Molecule Man, and Black Swan are the 4 frontrunners for who this new world boss is. However, most of that was thrown out the window this morning. I woke up and Danny Koo had tweeted, so 5 hours ago when I was asleep, he tweeted a thinking emoji with a drawing that he made, artwork that he made of Black Swan. And of course, it's pretty straightforward. Like, it looks exactly like her, this Black Swan here. The hands don't look the same. I admit she's pretty and she has some freaky hands. But yeah, he went with normal human hands, not the freaky monster hands that she has. But yeah, it's a really cute, piece of art. It looks nice. She's got these like, they look like poker chips on her body. And then yeah, she's got like this black and white motif going on. It looks pretty similar. It's a little bit different than this one. It's probably a little bit less risque than the one that you see from the comics. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be Black Swan. So my bet would be sort of 90% chance, I would say, that this new world boss is going to be Black Swan. And assuming this is the regular way of doing things for Marvel Future Fight, that means Black Swan is going to be the new character, the new native tier 3 or possibly native tier 4 world boss legend that you can unlock by playing just like Kang, just like Gore, just like Mephisto, just like Null, and just like the Black Order before them. I say 90%, right? I say it's a 90% chance because Danny Koo could be baiting us. He could be trolling us. There's still a possibility it's Beyonder. There's still a possibility it's Molecule Man. I would say it's like 90% Black Swan chance, 9.9% chance Beyonder, and then 0.1% chance someone like Molecule Man or Doctor Doom. The reason why I only give a very small percentage to someone like Molecule Man or Doctor Doom, despite how much they mean to and how much they're referenced in the Library of Worlds, is because they're already characters in the game. And very few characters in Marvel Future Fight that are already characters get turned into world bosses after the fact. We have seen 2, right? We've seen Infinity Ultron and Jean both get turned into world bosses after they were characters, which is why they don't drop bios for their respective characters that you unlock. So it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of. There's a small chance it could be Molecule Man or Doom, but I think it's unlikely. So yeah, my bets are on Black Swan right now. So okay, we've covered what the sneak peek means and what the comic implications are, what the lore is, and all that stuff. Now we have to turn to the actual reaction. And the best way to illustrate this is to look at other comments left by other people. So over on Twitter, Beast Mode Gaming, shout out to him, said, in quotations, "Just another world boss. Is not the play, but I'll save my judgment for when this goes live." Commander said, "A new game mode would have been better. I'll be ready though, as long as the rewards are worth the effort." Over on the forums, I don't want to really read any of the comments because they're degenerate. But as you can see, there's only 10 loves, 3 ha-has, 7 likes for a total of 20. But just in the angry department, there's 20. So there's as many angries as there are likes, ha-has, and loves combined. That pretty much sums up what I think a decent portion, I don't want to say the majority, but I think a decent portion of players are feeling right now, which is, what's the point? What is the point of another world boss stage? Now, this is a bit of a tricky one because they did say there was going to be a new world boss. They did say that in the last dev note in November of last year, so just a few months ago. They said that there was going to be a new world boss, and they also said that this new world boss would be different than all of the other world bosses, that it would not follow the same pattern as all of the other world bosses, which presumably means that the other world bosses are just, you know, and we talked about this before, more HP, more defense, more HP, more defense, more HP, more defense, more HP, more defense. And presumably this boss won't follow that pattern. But if this boss won't follow that pattern, that's great. If this boss is the tier 4 only content that they were talking about, that's not great. And the reason why that's not great is pretty straightforward. It's basically oversaturation of one game mode. And unfortunately, we've seen this before, but Kang is a really cool boss. Jean is a really cool boss. Gore is a pretty decent boss. Ultron is decent when he's not like super annoying. But you can only play 5 times a day. And because of the way that World Boss of the Day works, you actually don't play multiple bosses a day. You actually just play the one boss 5 times. And the way that the drops work, the way that the rewards work, the way that they're structured, you actually want to play the hardest boss possible. So if this new world boss follows any of those patterns, any of that established logic, then you're going to just ignore Kang now, ignore Jean, ignore Ultron, ignore all the other bosses, and just focus on this new Beyonder or Black Swan boss. And that is what's called oversaturation. There's just too many competing things, but the newest one is going to win because it's just slightly better than everything else. Now, to be fair, right, in the dev note, they said that they were going to change the world boss rewards so that it wasn't tied so heavily to just playing the hardest boss, playing the newest boss. They also said they were going to make it easier for books to drop. So perhaps this is the new, world boss. Perhaps, for example, the new world boss legend, this Black Swan, Beyonder, or whatever, perhaps this new world boss is not going to really drop a lot of tier 4 materials, but instead, the new world boss is going to guarantee you at least 1 book a day, right? There's like 1 book every run, let's say. So you could theoretically, right, hypothetically, guarantee farm 5 books in 1 day by playing this one boss. I don't know how they're going to do it. If they create target farming, which is what they haven't done and they struggle to do, if they create different sorts of target farming for different bosses, I think that would be a huge win. I think that would be fantastic. That would, I think, be the best case scenario. But I can't blame players for feeling like the opposite is going to happen, and that they're just going to churn out another world boss that's a little bit harder than Kang, where the boss drops a little bit more carbonadium than Kang, and drops a little bit more black antimatter and a little bit more tier 3 materials, and it's just seen as a slight step up. If that's what the devs do, then this is an utter failure. It doesn't really matter if the gameplay is different. If the rewards follow the same boring motif that they have for the past few years, then it's going to just... The game mode is going to be dead. Not the game mode, the boss itself is going to be dead within a matter of weeks, and it's going to be essentially a failed investment. And we've seen what failed investments can do to the game, and they not only hurt the game, they not only hurt the player base, they not only erode trust with the devs, but they also waste a lot of time, because presumably the developers have to work on these new game modes for weeks or months, and if they just fail faster than they were created, right? If it takes you longer to build something than it does for that thing to get destroyed or get forgotten, then it's just a massive, colossal waste, right? And so if we chew through this and it tastes bad and we're done in a week, then players are going to be itching for something new even sooner. And the devs are going to be like, well, we just gave you something new. You got to give us like 6 months. And the players are going to be like, I can't wait 6 months. What you gave me was nothing. It was a nothing burger. You gave me 2 buns with no patty and no vegetables, condiments, whatever. It was just nothing. It was an air burger, an air sandwich. And the devs are going to say, well, this is what we do. So yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic. I hope the devs have listened to our feedback and are sort of heeding these warnings. The worst case scenario is what I've just described. However, if they create target farming, then that could be the best case scenario, and that could actually be so much more entertaining. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what about increasing the number of runs per day, Alex? I actually don't think that that's the answer. I think 5 runs per day is fine. They could upgrade it to 5, to 6, or to 7 if they wanted to, but I don't think doubling it to 10 is the answer. I don't think more is the answer. I think instead what they should do is create target farming. What target farming means is that every boss drops something different. And I don't think it should be in the form of tier 4 materials, right? I think all the bosses should still drop tier 4 materials. The world boss legends, I should say. But I think that they should basically gut the rest of the rewards. I think they should start with a sort of almost blank slate. Okay, hear me out. And they should do the following. Null drops tier 4 materials and black antimatter. That's it. That's it. Mephisto drops tier 4 materials and tier 3 materials. That's it. That's it. Ultron drops tier 4 materials and Odin's blessings, let's say. Okay, just off the top of my head. Gore drops tier 4 materials and books. Like, books, Titan records, right? Jean Grey drops tier 4 materials and the Phoenix Feathers Emkron crystals, right? You see where I'm going with this? So if they create a target farm, then when you go and you look at the game every day, you're like, okay, what do I need today? What am I working towards? What's my progress goal? Okay, my progress goal, you know what? I really want to get some more Odin's blessings. So we're going to hit up Ultron. There's like a 50% chance with every run that I get an Odin's blessing. Maybe some days I don't get an Odin's blessing. Maybe some days I get 2, 3 Odin's blessings. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. But I'm not making any progress on my books. I'm not making progress on my Phoenix Feathers, etc. Right? Or maybe you're like, you know what? I actually have to go play Kang. Or sorry, I got to go play Null. Because they just dropped Black Swan native tier 3. And I need a shitload of black antimatter. So I'm going to play Null. And he's going to drop like 200 black antimatter with every run. And it goes up to like 300 black antimatter when I go to a high stage. So I'm going to farm that dude for like 1,500 black antimatter per day. If they create target farming, this would change World Boss in a way that is interesting. Because it's now giving the players agency over how they are progressing in the game. And it's basically creating a situation where you may actually start building specific characters for specific World Bosses, even though there's lots of overlap. What I mean by that is, you know, maybe you already have a speed character like Luna, for example, for, you know, this specific content. But let's say you really want to farm high levels of Mephisto because of whatever his target farmed reward is. So you go and you build more speed females so that you can target farm at a very high level. So even though there's overlap, it doesn't really matter because that's what you're sort of targeting. Anywho, that's sort of the best case scenario. Hopefully what they do at least falls in the middle, somewhere between the worst and the best case scenario. I'm hopeful, but I'm realistic. But I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. So yeah, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button. It helps with the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.